is three-time Super Bowl champion, analyst on NBC's Football Night in America, Devin McCourty. And I guess we're adding T-ball coach to your resume. That sounds like a real adventure.
I'm not T-ball, I'm kickball. I haven't
Oh,
graduated to T-ball yet. So, and I
I
only
got
did it
bad
for my
intel.
3-year-old to play. And our first day, he went crying and didn't even play. So he made me look bad. We're working on him. He's a work in progress. What are you doing here? Didn't your birthday just pass? You don't go on vacation the whole time and just skip this?
Ah,
What are we doing?
what a flex. What a flex. Are you ready? I was in Mexico weirdly with Justin Simmons at the NFL Classic. And then I'm
Hmm.
actually in Phoenix right now. I'm going to the Suns Warriors game. So I'm living my best life. Don't you worry.
The hardest working woman in America. Happy
Yeah.
belated, Kay.
Not at all, not at all. I can't believe that Hamilton, like you're just like setting me up for failure today, saying we had a whole thing about how you're a T-ball coach. Hamilton, you're fired. Jail.
Well,
Where's Hamilton?
Jay's gonna get mad. Hammer's his guy. Like he loves Hammer. He's talking to me all the time when they were on Good Morning Football together. He's from New
Yeah.
Rochelle, and we talk football and blah blah blah. But like nobody cares about all that.
Hammer, you not around anymore? Like Hammer just literally like leaves. He like the show starts and he freaking there. Come on.
I'm not throwing people under the bus here. I'm not
Oh.
doing that. But yeah, we'll get better. We'll get better until next time. I'm sorry, Devin.
All
You're
good.
saying that, Dev, you're saying the Patriots, we got to ask about the Patriots, get it over with. We can talk about other stuff. Like, you're saying Justin Simmons don't go there. They have to get through some losing. I mean, they started their voluntary workouts yesterday. And according to Vrabel, they weren't so voluntary. He said, I write a letter voluntarily to the players to make sure that they voluntarily read it and voluntarily show up. What do you make of this Vrabel era in New England?
I think it's gonna be good. I just for like a guy like Justin Simmons, like they had 4 wins last year. It's hard, and I know the Commanders just did it. So then everybody's like, anyone can do it. Anyone could go straight to the AFC Championship or NFC Championship. It's just hard to do. But I think for one, Vrabel is telling the truth. Like if you're in the NFL and I know it says voluntary. If your best players on your team go to those voluntary workouts and you're a young player or you're any other player, you better show up. When I was in New England, Tom Brady was going to those voluntary workouts when I first got there. You better believe we had like 98 or 99% participation in those voluntary workouts. So I think it's good though for a new team. You get a new head coach like Mike Vrabel. Let everything start to build. Let the culture build. Let's get used to being around each other and prepare for the season that's coming up. So I think New England will definitely be better. But I just think it's going to be hard, playing against Buffalo, playing against the Dolphins. To think they're just going to turn it all around and be right in that big game at some point next year.
I don't know, Coach Vrabel. Is he as intimidating as even that sentence? Like he's that's kind of his vibe, right? Like he's a bit of a toughie, or is he a fake toughie?
I don't fully know. I've only been around the different people that were around him. I always remember when we went to the Super Bowl 51, the 2016 season. I go to do the production meeting with Collinsworth and Michaels, and Bill is still in there. And I forgot what one of them asked Bill, hey, what's a former player or former coach that you think will be a good head coach if they get an opportunity? And he goes, Vrabel, like says Vrabel right away. And he said, because sometimes to be a good head coach in this league, you got to be a little bit of an a-hole. And Vrabel has plenty of that to pass around to his team. And that's why I think he'll be a head coach. And I think that's what he's going to bring to New England. You see that when he's talking about the voluntary workouts. I think the players are going to see that he could be tough. But I think he also has a little bit of the mentality of, hey, I've been there before. I've been a player. I understand what you're going through. I'm going to throw you a bone here and there, but they're going to be a hard-nosed football team.
I feel like he's got an opportunity to be known as like that tough coach in a good way, like you're saying. Like Bill Belichick, everyone saw it. Like, I wonder if it rings a bell or that's just the kind of culture that works in New England. But Bill, like, I don't know, like, Bill's like not, I don't look at him like the toughie that he was anymore. Like he's sort of changed. Like I look at him differently. I really do. It's hard not to.
Like, did we know Bill Belichick was a hip hop head? He has like Lil Wayne coming through North Carolina. We got all
No.
these different things. But I think all of these coaches, the good ones, they know how to kind of adapt and change to what's going on. When I was there in New England, we would get some of the former players that would come back and they're like, y'all do what? Well, this is Bill soft now. And then at the end of my career, the way our just morning meetings went were drastically different than when I first got there. And he was just annihilating guys one by one. And our lowlights, like that kind of went away because I think he felt like guys couldn't handle it the same way they did before. So I think all these coaches have the ability to adapt. And even Andy Reid, everybody thinks he saw. You hear players talk about his practices, hard, they run a lot. Like, it's hard to win in the NFL. It is what it is.
The Pats traded away Milton last week, so this was news because it was to avoid quarterback feelings, I guess. New England media is still all over. Tom Kerr and Phil Perry, they're reporting. They want to hear from you on this. The headlines are like, "Are the Patriots babying Drake May?" And that's literally a headline that was on the Sports Hub. And they called Drake May a diva, was a WEEI sort of. I don't know if it was a joke or not. I didn't hear it directly, but I read it. What do you think of that reaction in New England?
You know what it is. Like, why would we have a positive reaction in New England if you're a sports talk, right? Like, they don't believe in that. And I think it makes sense. Like, I got to be around Joe Milton. Jay and myself, we called their preseason games. And Joe Milton has a very high energy. He's funny. He comes in. He's a big dude, big chain on. Like, he has the element that I think a lot of guys gravitate towards in the NFL. And then on the flip side of that, Drake May was exactly the same way. Like, they had a terrible day against the Eagles in their first joint practice where they said he got sacked like 11 out of 14 times. We asked Drake about it. He was like, I just went back, watched the film, and I studied on what I would have done if there wasn't any pressure and then what I should have done with the pressure being there. Never complained about anything. And I think New England got ahead of the thought because I think Joe Milton in his heart, and I think he truly feels he's better than Drake May. And I think he has that aura about him. So I don't think they're babying Drake May. I think they're trying to build a good football team. So if you have a guy who has talent and he's a backup and he wants to be a starter and that you think it might be a problem, you don't wait till it becomes a problem. You move on. So I honestly think they probably would have wanted to keep him because you look at Jimmy Garoppolo sitting behind Tom Brady, sits there. You trade him, you get great value in developing the guy. I'm sure Josh McDaniels would have loved to develop Joe Milton, see what he turns into. If Drake May becomes your guy, you trade him. If not, you put Joe in there. But they avoided, I think, what could end up being an issue down the line.
Really well said. Last one on the Pats, because there's other more important things to talk about. This Travis Hunter would be so fun. I talked to Elliot Wolf at owners meetings last week. Like, it would be so fun. They're sitting there at 4. I'm sure he wants to play both sides of the ball. I want you to listen to what he said about how many snaps he wants to play.
What are you at the next level?
Both, just like you saw me play.
You want to do both. How many snaps in a football game can you play?
All of them, if they give me the chance and the opportunity to do it.
He's making it sound pretty easy, Dev.
The guy's unbelievable. I played 115 snaps in a college game one time. I was exhausted. He did that week in and week out. With that being said, I do think the NFL season is different than college. Like, he did that in Colorado for 1 year, for 2 years. Like, that's not easy to do. And I think what ends up happening is he's a very competitive guy. Seems like he wants to be the best. He wants to do that. But overall, when you think about the longevity of your career, what you want to do, I think for him, it's going to make more sense to play one side of the ball primarily. And I think to start his career, it would make sense to me to play offense, learn offense. We can always put you in on defense. You're not going to need to know every single thing to play in packages on defense. But I just think you don't want to go out there and do well, but keep getting injured or your body doesn't make it through a year, because then that affects how much you get paid. If you go out there and you're a dominant wide receiver, you're going to make a lot of money. Jamar Chase just signed for over $40 million a year. Like, that's going to be the ballpark you get to be in. I don't think there's going to be an advantage to play both ways other than your pride on saying, I played both ways. I don't know if it's going to really make sense from a financial situation and from a longevity career for him to have in the NFL.
It's so funny. You're now this like elder statesman that like comes in and like talks to Justin Simmons, who's by the way entering his 10th year in the league, and you're talking to the guys going into like, hold on, hold your horses. It's very cool to see this like what's going on with you, Dev. And by the way, he did say that he needs 8 hours of sleep, and then the other 16 hours he's going to use to learn both positions. Maybe it gets him drafted where he wants to go. Maybe he goes to New England. Let's talk about
You better
another.
never have kids. It's never that easy.
Oh, that's too good. Aaron Rodgers. Let's just go right there. Okay, Aaron Rodgers. We're hoping on a decision in the next couple of weeks. We don't know what's going on. I do kind of think like it's a big decision. So like let him have it. It's not bothering you what he's doing. He's not like in front of the camera every day talking about it. He's doing his thing. Do you think, and there's obviously it's like Steelers are retiring. Do you think that the move, Aaron to the Steelers, that division, that everything, will it be closer to Brady and the Bucks than people think, or is it more like Cousins to the Falcons, Rodgers to the Jets? Like, what is your prediction on how that marriage would work?
I'm not going Brady to the Bucks. I think Brady is Brady because it was very strategic. He went to a division that, the Bucks in the year they won a Super Bowl. It's not like it was great all year. They built, and then they still were in the race, and then they played their best ball at the end of the year, which kind of Brady, I would say, is exactly, he's that. That's what he believes in. But I will say it's not like the other ones because I think Rodgers is too great to compare to like Kirk Cousins going to Atlanta. I would love everything about it other than, like you just said, the division that they're in. Like, yeah, I think he makes Pittsburgh better. I think he makes them a contender. But do we sit here and we say if he goes to Pittsburgh, they're going to beat Baltimore? They're going to definitely beat Cincinnati? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't feel comfortable saying that. But I do think ultimately he ends up in Pittsburgh. And I get why he's kind of holding out. Because to me, if he can find a way to get to Minnesota and Minnesota says, hey, we want to go a year Aaron Rodgers and have J.J. McCarthy ready after, or if it doesn't work with Aaron mid-season, we'll put J.J. I think Aaron, that gives him the best shot to go over there. Detroit lost a lot. Chicago's trying to build. Green Bay's good, but they got a lot of weapons over there.
I think the argument about it being closer to Brady and the Bucks, like the division thing, you're completely right. But this is a 10-win team with Mike Tomlin as the coach, Like this is a team that has stars. I was looking even like at the sports book this morning. Their over/under is set at 8.5, and that's like including the idea of Aaron Rodgers. It just seems very low. I think people are sort of sleeping on it, but I guess it is the division. And Chicago and Green Bay never seems to get there. Like we have more faith that he could do it in Minnesota than with Mike Tomlin and the Steelers. I don't know.
And I think people now are hung up on the Jets. Like, I think I picked the Jets last year to win the division. I thought this was like a great marriage. They had this number 1 to 3 ranked defense. You're going to add Aaron Rodgers. Everything's going to kind of be and it was a total mess. Like nothing went the right way. Now I agree with you. Mike Tomlin is the difference that it always seems like the ship is moving in the right direction, but the ship very rarely seems like it gets to the ultimate destination. So that would be my concern. I think they would be right in the race. But if you're going to say, do I think they're going to be better than Baltimore? I still wouldn't pick them over Baltimore, even with Aaron Rodgers.
We had Justin Simmons on. He spent that year with the Falcons. He's not closing the door and going back there. When I think Falcons, I really think Julio Jones. It goes right to Julio Jones and just the incredible catches, just the highlight reel, like he was one of those players that like I knew I was watching greatness while it happened. I didn't take it for granted as a fan. I never did. You've had a couple of memorable battles against Julio in your playing days, the Super Bowl for one, of course. What do you remember about lining up against Julio Jones?
For one, Julio's the guy. When Julio retires, you're like, I hope I don't end up on one of the highlights because like it's so many highlights, and he has one great catch on me in 2013. I don't think he has too many other big ones that I won't show up. But I just remember the one catch on the sideline, and I'm sure it's going to come up on Eric Rowe, where like I had a view from the field where I was like, damn, he got his foot in. But like the crazy thing is when I played, and a lot of times I was playing safety, we always doubled him. Like we never let him play one-on-one with anybody. And I just remember being at safety and knowing you had help, but when he was running at you, you would kind of like hear him and his knees would be damn near at his chin, running full speed at you, and you knew it was trouble. The guy he was a beast. We played him in Foxborough in like this fog game one time, and he makes this crazy catch over Malcolm, and I'm running over there, and I'm just like, damn, that was a hell of a catch. Between him and Antonio Brown I came in 2010, AB 2010, Julio 2011. Those two guys, like you knew you were in for a long day whenever you had to play against them because they just found any way to get open, even though they knew they were getting double teamed. The offense had a plan for it, so they were tough matchups.
Justin was talking about how amazing it is Harrison Smith entering, I think, his 13th or 14th year as a Viking. You did your entire career as a New England Patriot. We're talking with him in the break about changing teams and don't overthink it. If you could have played for another team in that era, who would have been attractive to you?
I would say the two teams that I thought about going to during free agency one time were the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Giants was definitely appealing because lived in Jersey, played high school and college football in New Jersey. And then Philadelphia was the same way. It was going to be close to home. But the one team that I was hoping drafted me when I went on my visit was the San Diego Chargers at the time. When I went out there, I was like, man, I could live out here. This is beautiful. Loved every minute of it. It was just far from home, but I loved it. They had a second-round pick, and I was just like, nah, I want to be a first-rounder. So I was happy they didn't draft me, but I could envision being out in San Diego.
I can't. I mean, I could definitely picture you, but you're such a New Jersey. Like you are New England to me. Like I don't know that would have that would have worked out. Last one for you. Tom Brady brings in spy tech. What do you think he's like right now? So Mark Davis is saying I'm hands off. Marcel Reese yesterday told me, and he was like his right-hand man for a long time. He said, Mark Davis is as hands off as he can be, which is a perfect way to say it. What do you think Tom Brady is like in this new role? I mean, to me, he's so team-oriented. Not that he defers, but he really empowers his team personally, I think, and as a Patriot, as a Buck. What do you think he's like leading into the draft?
I think he's probably phenomenal. I just think back to all of the captains' meetings. I got to be a captain with him, was it 9 or 10 years or whatever it was. And in our captain's meetings, it would always break down of you would talk about either defense or offense, but kind of like your region. So come to me, I would talk about the defense, but really the secondary. Hightower would hit the linebackers, and then, Mayo or Vince Wilfork when I was with them. Brady would get up and Brady would give us a synopsis of the whole game, what everybody needed to do. He would have this kind of whole plan, especially in our big games of, hey, I know the defense is going to do this. We need them to do that. And I would sit there and I'd be like, damn, this is why you're Tom Brady. You just understand everything. And I think now he has the opportunity because as a player, you don't always feel listened to. You don't feel like people let you get to that level of, hey, let's ask him about what we're going to do from a player and personnel standpoint. Let's ask them about scheme. No, they only want to really ask you about what you see from the quarterback position, and that's it. And I think he's really invested time throughout his career and now of what makes a good football team, how to build it, the good things to do. And he was in New England for a long time, so he learned a lot there. So I can only imagine. And I think he has the edge of when they're allowed, free agents and different things. He's calling those guys, and it means a lot to get a call from Tom Brady. So I definitely think he's using that.
Yeah, what if he's come to Baker's Bay, go golf? He has so much access to come to Big Sky. I can't even freaking imagine. And that is why he's the greatest. And you are the greatest, and so is Jason. And you guys are always tackling sickle cell. You do such great work. You just with awareness, raising money. It is Sunday, May 4th, your next event. It is tell me what's going on. It's at Liberty State Park in Jersey.
Yeah, this is in Jersey City, our 5K walk. We've been doing this now for, I think, 11 or 12 years, where the best part of this is you see those kids in those pictures. These families come year in and year out. And what we do is We build their community, different families who have either kids or cousins or whatever who are dealing with sickle cell. They get to unite, have a good time, walk, talk, but they get to really tell stories and share what they're going through. And everybody knows there's nothing better than talking to somebody and they know exactly how you feel and they can become a friend. They can become somebody that you can talk to and build you back up. So we built an awesome sickle cell community that everybody comes and supports, and I'm looking forward to. We have a good time, and I always usually raise more money than Jay, or I beat him in the 5K. So the competition, it's always there, you know?
It's a community. I think that's a perfect way to say it. It's not easy to do that. And it's embracekids.org if you want to register or get more information, or go to @McCourty Twins. And FanDuel should put up odds, by the way. We should work together, and FanDuel should put up odds for who wins the 5K, you or Jason. My vote always with you. By the way, appreciate you so much. Thanks for coming on the show. And when Justin Simmons signs to, Vic Fangio's Eagles, you and I are going to like pop a bottle of champagne. It'll be great.
Yeah, when he has a pick six, you'll come on the next day and say, me and Devin McCourty, we talked about this. Great job, Justin, by listening.
No, I'm going to send him I want 1% of their deal. Like we did this for you.
Well, I want him to know, hey, Justin, I just need 0.3%. I don't even need the full one.
You're always a better man than me, Devin. We appreciate you. We'll be back here on Up and Adams. Enjoy your offseason and everything you got going on.
You too.